Hello, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a geode mould, and a unique one to you, so that you have a mould that no one else has and you can make unique geodes out of resin, because they are really popular at the moment, and to be honest they do look great. So what I'm going to do is just show you the process of making the mould and then how to make the geode, and it's much better than buying quite expensive geode moulds. So without too much further ado, let's get on. So I've got my Sculpey clay here, and what I've got is I've glued together 3 popsicle sticks to use as my guide for the thickness, and that's the thickness that I really do like my bespoke coasters to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll out my Sculpey clay, and this is just Sculpey original that I've got here, until it becomes the same thickness as this popsicle stick, and it will be consistent with what I always have my coasters to be. So as soon as that rolling pin hits that popsicle sticks, then it becomes the right thickness, and there we go. So nice and easy, and I keep these because I use those quite a lot. And now what we want to do is we want to be thinking about the actual shape of our geodes. Now, if you saw my video that I released earlier on how to make a freeform geode, that's kind of the shape that I like. But you have it whatever shape you want. If you want the one that's shaped like a diamond, then you can have it. It will just look like it's been a polished cut geode. So I'm going to make my geode now by just using this metal implement here, bringing it round like so, and again here, and joining it up there, and I'm quite happy with that shape. Now you can have a geode without a hole in the middle, or you can have a geode with a hole in the middle. It really doesn't matter. Or you could make 2 of these because it doesn't use a lot of clay, and then what you can do is make them separate molds, still the same shape, and have a set of them. But what I do quite like them with a little hole in the middle. So I'm just going to put a little hole here, and not quite a circle because I don't want it to be too even. And there we go. And if I'm not happy with that shape, I can just take a bit more out, like so. And I think I might thin it off a little bit at that end as well. Yeah, there, I'm really quite pleased with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to brush this over with some Sculpey or clay thinners to get rid of any fingerprints, go around the edges, and then I'll bake it, and then we'll come back. So I baked the Sculpey, and I've now put it into my moulding pot. And if you want to know how I make the moulding pots, then check out the video above. And I'll also put it as an end card as well. They're really easy, very flexible, because you can use them for making resin dioramas in and different castings as well. So I've also given this 3 coats of a gloss varnish, because I want to ensure that when the mould is finished, that it is actually a glossy finish as opposed to a matte finish. And if I hadn't done that, it would just be a matte finished mould. So now what I'm going to do is add the silicone into it, and then we're good to go. Okay, so I've marked up as well how high I want this silicone to go, because I don't want it too deep. And now I'm just going to pour it in to ensure that it gets in everywhere. I could have cut these corners off to save a little bit of this silicone, but to be honest, this one isn't wasting too much. I do normally. Okay, so that will be deep enough for me. And then bubbles will come up out of that as well, and we'll come back to that when it's cured. So this is nicely cured now, as you can see. It's really quite hard. So I just need to take this out of its pot, and all I do is I go down each of the corners with a sharp knife, cut the tape, and then I will use this plastic again. I'll just give it a bit of a clean to make another pot. And there we go, that's now ready to use to make a geode cast of resin in. There are many different ways that you can make a geode out of resin, and this is just one of the methods that I use. I'm not using any glass or anything here, but I am using a pipette and transparent colours with and clear colour with glitter in for the centre. And what I do is I just put it around and allow it to blend into each other, really, to give it the final look. I do go over it periodically with my torch to ensure there are no bubbles, and this is a homemade mould, so I find it doesn't burn with the torch quite as much, but I am very careful. And here I'm using some gold mica in resin in thin circles to put around it to give it kind of like the rings, but that will merge in with everything else. Okay, so this is cured now, which is great. So we just need to take it out of the mould, and it just should pop out the mould fairly easily. There we go. So I'm really pleased with how that's come out. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some gold leaf around the edge to finish off the edge. Okay, so there we go. I've put gold leaf on that one now, and I think that finishes it off really, really nicely. So if you want to know how I use gold leaf and how to put it onto resin, then check out the video above, and it will show you how easy it is. Make your own silicone mould to make a geode, and then make the geode afterwards, and you can make hundreds of them, as many as you want. Enjoy your resin.